Welcome back to the Aussie Shed, ladies and gentlemen. After restoring my beautiful old GMF bench grinder from the 60s, I couldn't bear to bring myself to attach the original machine tag to it. It'd been very knocked around, quite a lot of abrasion up here, all the print missing from it, and just generally very messy. Definitely not what you want to fit onto your newly restored machine. So, being that it's basically just a piece of thin aluminium with some sort of a clear decal label over the top of it, I thought I might have a bit of a crack at making a new one for it. The first thing that I have to do is to be able to rebuild this image. So step one was to flatten the tag out completely and run it through a flatbed scanner, just a cheap PC flatbed scanner, so that I would have an image to start with. I did scan it at the highest resolution that the scanner would scan at, so that enabled me to blow it up extremely large and work in detail on the areas and hopefully see a little bit better what possibly was missing from the label and where things kind of went. So this involved me basically having to learn how to use a graphic manipulation image program. Not something I'm really that experienced in. I've previously only worked with bloody Paint and very basic programs like that. So what I did, I downloaded a program off the internet called GIMP. It's an open source graphics manipulation program similar to Adobe Photoshop, but it's completely free. So I went about teaching myself the ins and outs of how to use GIMP through watching YouTube videos and, asking questions of people and things. And what I was able to basically do was to build a new image from this one. Plus I found a couple of photos online of a similar model old grinder to this and was able to work out from that old grinder what was actually missing in this area up here. I had it pretty much right, and then a fellow on my channel here actually sent me a picture of the right grinder with the exact label on it. And fortunately the image that I'd created in GIMP was exactly the same as what had been sent to me. And I was able to just, like I say, magnify it, reproduce all of these the letters and numbers and everything on it to enable me to create a new decal for it. So what I've done is I have gotten hold of some clear laser printer water slide decal paper, and I have printed this image that I've rebuilt on GIMP. I've printed that image onto the clear decal paper, and what I'm going to do is cut out a piece of aluminium, apply the water slide decal to the aluminium. The instructions say to bake it in an oven at 150 for, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, just to sort of cook it out. And I'll see what it finishes up like. I might even put a few coats of clear on it. But yeah, that's the whole process of what I'm about to do. This is the laser water slide paper that I've printed out the new image onto. You can see it's absolutely perfect size, shape. It's an exact duplicate. It worked out really, really well. So I'll just take in and I'll just show you the image on my computer screen, how it finished up in the program, and what I had before I printed it out onto to this clear water slide paper. So you can see there, that's the label as it was scanned into the program, and then from there I built like a clear mask overlay over the top of it and did all the repair work on the clear overlay, and then just removed the original scan from underneath it, which left me with this. And after doing all of the rebuilding and then removing the original layer from the scan, this is basically what I was left with, which is the new image that I can then use to print out onto the laser decal paper, which hopefully I'm going to be able to adhere to a piece of aluminium. That is the plan anyway. So I'll head back out to the shed and cut out a piece of aluminium. And here we are, all set up. I've got a piece of ratty old aluminium sheet that I just cut out of a daggy piece that was just sitting around in the shed. I've cleaned it up with a bit of steel wool just to get all the scratches, and hopefully I got a piece that didn't have any dents in it. I've got our water slide decal here cut out, ready to go. I've got a tub of water over here. You're watching it live, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just about to drop it in the water. So 30 to 60 seconds, they say, which we will just time it. There's the alarm. Time to go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we won't have any problems. So, it's going to be a little bit tricky getting her off. Come on, baby. Get the bloody paper out. Here we go. Alrighty. She's off. Now, we need to just kind of work from the middle. Get all the bubbles out. Get all the moisture out from under it. Jeez, it's blowing a bloody gale outside. But so far, so good. Does appear to be coming along just fine, ladies and gentlemen, as best as I can tell. The only issue here is it's not easy to see where the water is, whether it's under or over. Oh look, we've got a little bit of colour coming off the sticker. Not good. Very hard to know what to do. So we do not want to bugger it up. It's sort of passable the way it is, we could live with it. Probably gives it a bit of character. I guess we'll let it dry and see what happens. It's definitely going to need some clear over it. But as you can see, we're on the right track. It's looking fairly similar to our original label. At this stage I think we'll just let that dry and see what comes of it. So it's all dry now, and I've put 3 coats of lacquer over it. Just some of this stuff that I've been using on other things. It is an actual lacquer, not a clear acrylic, so it is thinners based, and the laser water slide decal seems to have held up okay. It's only buggered up a little bit in one spot down the bottom here, but that's because I touched it before it was properly dry like an idiot. But apart from that, which it's not too bad, it doesn't look too bad. The only other issue is where I was drying it off, there is a couple of bits of colour missing, but that really just gives it a bit of character. It's not too bad, so you can sort of see what we've got there. So all that's left to do now, I guess, so she's nice and dry, and like I say, 3 coats of lacquer. So I guess all I've got to do now is cut it out, clean up the edges, and drill a couple of holes and put it onto the machine. Alright, I might get going with that then. Rightio, so the cutting out is complete. And this is what we have. The colour variation in real life, it doesn't look as bad as it does on camera. Depending on how you hold it, I sort of struggled a bit because this label is a real pinky red, and I printed out that many different samples to try and get the colour as close as I could, and until it went onto the aluminium you couldn't really see, but it's pretty close. I think I didn't do too bad with it. So that's our new machine tag. Not too bad at all. Not a professional job, but still not too bad at all. So to cut it out, all I used was just a pair of whisk snips, just making sure that the waste side was always away from the piece, and it cuts a reasonably good edge without too many lumps and bumps in it. Good enough anyway. I cut probably about 1 mil outside of the line that I marked on there. You can see these are all the offcuts from me cutting it out. And then I just basically finished it with a file and just a cork block, 80 grit. I went around it originally with 80 grit. That was actually pretty good for taking off some of the excess. And what I've got here, 400 grit for just doing the final sort of finish on it. But flat file, fairly fine flat file. A mill blasted file, just kind of going along, sweeping along the edges. I'll show you on the old piece, just kind of going along like that. And just sort of, you know, it takes it down to where you want it fairly quickly if you've got it pretty close, and gives a reasonably tidy edge, which you can then just clean up with a block and paper. So you can see there is quite a difference between them, even though this one isn't perfect due to the little rub outs that I did while I was smoothing the transfer off. It's pretty good. Like I say, that's got 3 coats of clear on it now, and it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. You can see it's just along this edge here that it got a little bit damaged up, but it gives it a bit of character. It makes it, you know, the fact that it doesn't look super spanky brand new is probably a good thing. So all that's left now is to put it onto the machine, which we'll do in just a jiffy. So here we are at the fully restored 60s GMF bench grinder, which is the home of the new machine tag, and all that's left to do now is to put it back in position. I've got some new U-drive pin tag pin thingamabobbies to refit the tag with, so I guess I should just go for it. Once again, for reference, a quick look at the old tag. Quite a difference. Anyhow, let's whack her on. I've had to cut this lower pin down slightly because the old one actually broke off, and it was a real bugger. So hopefully there's enough meat on it. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm bloody belting the shit out of everything. I think it's going to be just fine. And there you have it, folks. It's she's looking pretty flash. Very, very nice indeed. So if you've got a machine that's got a tag that's a fairly basic thing like this, it's just a piece of aluminium with something printed on it or whatever, mate, follow these instructions and you'll be able to reproduce it fairly easily. I'm no whiz with this sort of stuff. Like I said, I'd never even used the program that I used before to fix the graphic up with. The clear decal paper that I printed it with was just something that I got off eBay. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's clear laser printer decal paper. They also make inkjet clear decal paper, so you can use it on either a colour laser or a colour inkjet. The inkjet stuff you definitely have to put a clear coat over because the ink on the inkjet runs with water. I had to do that on this anyway, and it turned out completely fine. So yeah, very, very happy with it. So yeah, as always folks, thanks for stopping by the Aussie Shed. Always a pleasure having you here. If you like my content, remember to like and subscribe. If you'd like to support me here at the Aussie Shed, you can donate via PayPal or Patreon. Link in the description, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.